Hello everyone, welcome to the video. As you can see by the title, I'm going to be talking about The Force Awakens, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all, really. I mean, it wasn't all bad. There was good parts of the film. I mean, I did think that the original characters from the original series and the cinematics and the music, although it wasn't as good as the previous films, it was good. It kept the film with a degree of momentum. It wasn't an awful film, but it was nowhere in the region that I was expecting. Depending, the hype for this film was fucking insane. But yeah, I'll just get stuck right into it, and I'll try and have a bit more of an organisation what I talk about, because it's quite early in the morning. It's like 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. Yeah, about 2 a.m. So yeah, I'll try and have a bit of a structure to this review, criticism, rant thing, because it's going to be more of a rant, I've got a feeling. So let's just get right into it. The film did start off right. I'll give them that. I mean, the first 10 minutes or so, it did feel like a Star Wars film. I mean, when I was sitting in the cinema, and because I had a pretty good seat, thankfully, and it was one of the earliest viewings, so it felt fantastic when you were in the cinema, completely packed, new Star Wars film, and then we had the text rolling down your screen with the plot summarised. It was so good. Really felt excited at that point. I mean, I'd been avoiding spoilers after that point. Like, I had a complete media blackout for like fucking 4 days at least. So I mean, I was really looking forward to this. I did not want to have it ruined. I wanted to enjoy it, and yeah, well, the first 10 minutes of the film, like I said, it was all right. I was enjoying myself. It felt like Star Wars, and I did feel as if at this point it was going to be good. Although I was a little bit confused initially what the First Order was, but I presumed as we went on we'd obviously have this explained a bit more, yeah, because the only thing we had in the first at least few minutes of the film that we had explained was that the old guy that got killed by Kylo Ren um, said, "Oh, it rose from the ashes of the Empire," which doesn't really explain anything, but yeah. That's nothing too big a deal. At that point, it wasn't an issue. I mean, the scene when they were attacking the village it was really good, really well done. Even the bit with Finn, although it was a little bit, I don't know, felt a bit rushed. It made sense. It felt like it was going alright at that point. And we had Kylo Ren introduced, obviously, and yeah, he seemed very intimidating with all his Jedi skills and stuff that we hadn't seen before, such as the stopping of the blaster bolt in midair, which was pretty cool. Although initially in this scene, there's the part where I think his name's Poe started giving his Disney Channel, Disney Channel tension breaking jokes. A bit unnecessary. I didn't like that very much, but I'm just nitpicking at this point, aren't I, really? But yeah, anyway, I mean, initially the film wasn't an issue. I mean, but I was even keeping with it until the point that 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 what's it called, the first, I can't even want to say the Empire, the First Order attacks, the attacks where Rey's settlement is. I was thinking this is all right still at this point. Um, uh, but then she got into the Millennium Falcon. And this was probably my biggest complaint so far, aside from just one thing, which was that she could speak BB-8 language, which was a bit weird. But I was like, oh, she's probably spoken to droids, I guess, over time on the planet. I guess, I don't know. But yeah, she gets into Millennium Falcon. Very convenient it's there. I mean, fair enough. Films can be like that sometimes. Star Wars can be a bit convenient as well. I guess is a bit of chance sometimes when it comes to these films, so you have to give them a bit of leniency. And then she gets in the Millennium Falcon, and she's like, "Oh, I can't fly this shit." They take off, and they start flying away. There's some TIE fighters following them, and I just felt this scene was where it started to just go a little bit downhill, because I did not see how, in any way possible, she could have been flying that shit without any form of even looking over the controls beforehand. I mean, did you see what she was doing? She was literally flying through like 100,000 small holes. Like even Han Solo couldn't do that, I don't think. or he did, but only just, I think, in one, was it, oh, I can't remember if it was in the Strikes Back or not, but I can't remember. Such a long time ago I've seen that film. Should probably see it again. Now I've seen this shit. Replenish my my memories of the good films again. I mean, yeah, that was just a bit weird. I mean, I guess Luke, you could say, what did he just shoot womp rats, what they're called, on Tatooine? But even then, that was a bit cliche, just a little bit, just a bit weird, really. But then later on, when we actually got into space and Han Solo and Chewbacca turned up, I thought that was a bit odd as well. But then again, I mean, there was a lot of scenes in this film that I think I am being a bit too critical of, because when I actually was in the cinema, there was probably 5 things that really pissed me off. But those 5 things have turned into about 50 things now, because of going over what the plot was about and reading other people's things. And I feel as if maybe personally I'm just being too critical of it all, because I want to like this film, but I've kind of turned into a spiral of disliking it now, which is probably not the best way of looking at it. But yeah, there is genuine things I think are wrong with this film. Actually, you know what? Just to skip ahead, I think I'll just go on to the bits that I really did get pissed off about first. How about that? Alright. Well, skipping on ahead, when we got to the scene, that fucking scene of all the First Order people all lined up on that fucking planet with a big Death Star laser shit. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, but at this point, we had already realised that the plot was going to be a bit recycled, okay? We'd realised, okay, droid on another desert planet, another person finds a droid, befriends the droid very quickly, you know, escapes the planet, you know, it's kind of going that direction. It's going a bit in that direction. There's not even a cantina scene on that planet with the weird fucking old alien thing with the Luke's lightsaber. I still don't understand how that happened either. That was weird. But even then, I guess that will be explained. That's what I'm hoping. But I shouldn't have to have that explained. I should have at least a bit more information than what. I can't remember what she said in the film now. Something like, oh, that's a story for another time. But yeah, I was just don't know what's going on there with that. I mean, and then we got to the scene where the big Death Star again. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I talk about recycled plots, but they seriously thought. I mean, I when I was picking this in, I was honestly, I think I might have said out loud, "Are you fucking for real?" I mean, because of all the things J.J. Abrams could have thought of when he was, I mean, writing the script for this film. I mean, I know that one of the people writing the films, I can't remember his name, but I think he wrote partly for The Empire Strikes Back. I don't have a fucking idea what he was thinking or why he agreed to this. But, I mean, I know they're trying to play it safe, but why the fuck would the First Order build another fucking death laser in the first place? And how could they build another fucking death laser in the first place? I mean, it's another Death Star. I mean, what is the chances, yeah, of also there being, like, another way of just blowing the whole thing up again, going down another stupid canyon and blowing it up again? I mean, have the First Order not learned from the last 2 Death Stars? Are you for real? It's insane, isn't it? I mean, I just felt like they could have at least tried to make it a bit more original. I mean, even some of the EU stuff, the other stuff that is now non-canon, it had a little bit more, you know, a bit more convincingness to that than what we saw in the film when it came to just a basic plot, you know? I mean, even I did feel throughout the film as if if they were actually trying to pursue the entire just plot line with Luke, or if it was more about just destroying the Death Star thing again, because I just felt like they kind of had the whole Luke thing on hold until just at the end when Luke and R2-D2 happened to wake up. I mean, I just felt like the entire plot was really random at times. I mean, yeah, and then they blow up all, and then this bit pissed me off a bit. I mean, they blew up all the Republic planets, like, just in an instant, just like that, yeah? I know that happened with Alderaan, but you would have thought that, you know, all these people in the Republic, oh, well, these you know, these First Order people, we should probably wipe them out, you know? I mean, they're building a massive laser thing, and they don't like us, so doesn't look very good for us if they've got a big thing like 10 times the size of Death Star. You know, man, as we've got a big Republic fleet and all that, it might be a good idea to try and blow it up and stop them. But that's one of the other things I don't understand about this film was what are the politics of the society and just the general galactic, like, galaxy shit going on here. I mean, I understand that in episode 6 that obviously there wasn't going to be always complete peace because there was going to be all these imperial governors controlling other star systems and like in the EU trilogy and all that. Not EU trilogy, but you know what I mean. But it just didn't. I didn't understand how they had so much power. The First Order. It just was really odd. I just felt like there was little to none explanation. I know I'm kind of going over very randomly at the moment. It's like 2:30 AM in the morning, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna make a video. So I do apologise for all the kind of just jumping across everywhere. It just literally, the minute it pops in my head, I'm just gonna speak about it and see how it goes from there. I mean, and then we had and as I was talking about the things not making sense and the plot kind of just being a bit off in a sense. But I don't understand why Han Solo's gone back to being a smuggler. Like, he's fucking like 70 now, isn't he? I don't know how old he is, the actor Harrison Ford is anymore. But I mean, Jesus Christ, come on, he's not going to be a smuggler at that age. I mean, he could be, but come on, he's a bloody war hero. What's the point going back to being a smuggler again? All right, that's just, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I don't understand what they were thinking when they were doing that, but this is Disney, so I mean, there's a lot of, it seems to be a very recurring theme throughout its entire film. I mean, actually, I will say this. I don't know what everyone else thinks about this when they were watching this film, but I kept on thinking every single point in the film, right up till the end, it's going to get better, you know? I was kept on thinking, you know, oh, this will happen soon, and that will really make me like the film, you know? That never happened, and I felt, now I look back on it, I was making excuses for just a really shit film, which it was. It was not really worth going to the cinema to see and just waste my time with. I mean, it wasn't a bad film. It wasn't a good film. It was a really mediocre film. And those giving it 9 out of 10 on review things like IMDb and even the Rotten Tomatoes, like, what the fuck, Rotten Tomatoes, I don't know, it's just ridiculous, really. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with that. I mean, and then we had the Kylo Ren stuff. That was stupid. Like, I understand what they're trying to do with the character, make him look all conflicted and stuff, but he just looked like he had daddy issues. I wasn't convinced that he had conflict. I just thought he was just a piece of shit that couldn't fight for it. I know he's shot. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying that in response to the scene where he's fighting Rey at the end, you know, and Finn, and people are saying that, oh, the only reason he couldn't beat them was because he was shot by Chewie's blaster thing, yeah, but, I mean, before that, he was doing actually pretty good, yeah? And why couldn't you have just used the Force or something? I mean, we've seen countless times in films, or the other Star Wars films, where characters use the Force on each other at times. I mean, do you remember only like a few scenes before that, Kylo Ren literally had complete control over Rey. She was, I think he had a Force choke. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember now. But yeah, like, why couldn't you have done that? I mean, she wasn't supposedly that trained in the Force. Like, come on. I mean, well, actually, no. If we're going basing off what we see in the film, then bloody hell, she's really trained in the Force. But we'll get onto that in a minute. Then, yeah, then we had, what do we have? Oh, well, actually, we might as well just talk about Rey now. Actually, yeah. Well, probably out of all the characters in the film, I'd probably say Rey was the most unconvincing of them all. And that's probably because of just, as I've mentioned before, like with the Millennium Falcon, she's just too good, to be honest. I just wasn't convinced that she was seriously that good at everything. I could understand her being a good fighter because we saw her in the scene of, with just when Finn meets Rey at the first time that she's fighting off two robbers, and that's okay. That made sense. I mean, I guess it would make sense for her to be quite a strong character, physically and mentally, as she'd be living on a planet all her life with no one. So she'd probably have to be very, very strong a character. But the biggest issue I thought was just that she was really strong in all the wrong ways. Like, just because she happens to be a strong character, doesn't mean that she can fly a really hard to pilot ship in like 5 minutes. The name Falcon, that is. I mean, bloody hell, it's a modified vessel. It's not going to be something you can pick up in 5 minutes. And I know you could say she's a scavenger, so she knows how these things work. A scavenger can't do things like pilot a spaceship in 5 minutes, okay? And well, not just crashing it. Although she was crashing it, but they tried to do that, you know, to try and create the idea that she was very untalented when it came to flying it. But even then, someone's never flown a spaceship before, which is what I think it made it sound like in the entire film. Shouldn't be able to do that, yeah? And then how she could fix everything that Han Solo couldn't. And Han Solo's like, whoa, you can fix everything. Like, sure, she's smart, she can fix things. Yeah, I mean, I was a bit more convinced than that by the flying of the spaceship, because I guess scavengers would have to learn how the parts work. But even then, just because you're a scavenger doesn't mean you're not going to know how everything works. You're just trying to find things to sell, as far as I can tell. That's what her life was, really. But probably the biggest thing I found with this film about Rey was her really quick understanding of the Force, and how unrealistic and just stupid the writing was for many of those things. Especially the scene with the Stormtrooper and the Jedi mind trick. And yeah, it was just ridiculous. I mean, I understand that supposedly the Force was guiding her and stuff, but yeah, the Force doesn't work like that, okay? Like Han Solo says when Finn asks if we could just use the Force. Yeah, that's not how the Force works. This is not how the Force works, like Rey. This is not how the Force works at all. You can't just learn it and use the Force to use Jedi mind tricks within 5 minutes, okay? Oh, it was like a third attempt that she could do this. Yeah, that's insane, isn't it? I mean, how does she even know what a Jedi mind trick is? I guess from reading stories, but even then, you can't just do a Jedi mind trick. How would you know how they work? It's really odd. Yeah, I didn't understand quite a lot of the film when it came to Rey. Her character at the end, I don't understand that Kylo Ren was injured, but even then, she should never have beaten him. Although to be honest, if she was going to beat him, I'd rather she had fucking killed him. But oh no, Disney has to have, you know, like a massive hole open up in the ground so they completely split apart. That big cliche. Oh dear. It means we have another film, doesn't it? Yeah, but yeah, yeah, that was really stupid. I didn't like that. I was more pissed off with Rey being good with the lightsaber than with Finn, because Finn almost dies in the end, kind of. Like, yeah, but I just felt it kind of cheapened the entire idea of the Force, because since when has the Force been about, oh, you just close your eyes and you pray and you become good at everything? Like, yeah, that's how it works. But it doesn't. Like, I know Luke probably didn't get as much training as you probably would have seen in like the previous Jedi films. Like, you know, like all Padawans and stuff having like years and years of training in their life dedicated to the Force. But even then, that's different, yeah. This is the son of Anakin Skywalker, so I guess you could say, he can pick it up a bit quicker. But she hadn't, this person called Rey, she hadn't had any training at all. She had zero, nothing at all. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, actually, if you think about it, people are saying that Rey is the new like Luke Skywalker, which is a bit of a weird comparison. Sorry, but I mean, it's just a weird comparison because in the first film, the only thing that really Luke had going for him was the fact that he could pilot things, and he blew up the Death Star, which was a bit odd. Even then, it was a bit more convincing because he didn't actually do all the other things that Rey did, which was one, be a total badass and beat everyone up, which is alright on itself, except when you can pilot ships, use the Force on your first try, repair everything, like, just be everything that all the other people could be in one. Like, pretty much he's a combination of Han Solo, Luke, and, I don't know, C-3PO, I guess, understanding Wookiees as well. I think she talks to Chewbacca and stuff. I don't know, it was just weird. And but yeah, but just moving on. Rey was shit. The actor wasn't actually that bad. Just the character and how good she was over the top. Yeah, and then the ending. I didn't like the ending at all. Or actually, before we go on to the ending, I should probably mention I can't be too confident with the original cast, because although the original cast did, in a way, save everything. Oh yeah, I should know the scene with Kylo Ren and Han Solo and Han Solo's death. Oh, I was pissed off. I was not like crying my eyes out. I was just pissed. Like, so that's how you're gonna kill Han Solo off? Seriously? Like, this is Han Solo. He literally was like the guy that kind of made Star Wars. I think it is safe to say that without Han Solo, it would have been a very, very different different trilogy. I don't know if it would have been as popular, because he was just, at the time, he was a brilliant actor. I mean, he's not a bad actor now, but he's a bit past it. But yeah, he's all right. And then we go on to the other original cast, such as Carrie Fisher, and we don't want to mention her because just awful. She just doesn't seem like she's really into it. It probably explains why she's not been on the silver screen in like 30 or 40 years at all. Bit sorry for her, really, but you know, she had a bit of a fall from fame after the end of the Star Wars original trilogy. She's just not really into film anymore, I don't think. Not suited to her anymore. But yeah, then I don't know. I do know it was really weird, because after that, when we only had Luke in the film for about 3 minutes. Actually, no, was it 3 minutes? It might have been 3 minutes, that bloody scene where they were just looking at each other. It felt like it. I was so bored at that point. So I knew that like, I was going to see Luke, and it was just going to be like just a really boring cliffhanger. But yeah, I don't know. The death of Han Solo was really. I know I'm jumping over the place here. I'm tempted to make a new video about this while I'm actually like I've got my head on straight, because I'm not really thinking straight when it comes to this video. But I'm gonna upload it anyway, because fuck it, why not? I'm just getting all my venting away anger out in this video, which probably would actually make it more entertaining for a few people. So it's not too bad. But yeah, I don't know. If I've not mentioned something in this video, then I'm sorry. I mean, this film was Star Wars, but it wasn't what the fans wanted, as far as I can tell. But let's hope they can fix it in episode 3. 3? 8? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Anyway, give me some comments so I can bitch more about Star Wars with you all. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you soon, everyone.